Hello, Education 1030 students. I hope everyone's having a great week. Well, you've about survived the semester. We have this week left, and then next week is finals week. So I thought I would get on here and kind of go over some of the wrap up stuff that we're going to be doing, as well as your last chapter. So, if you remember correctly, we did chapter 12 right after chapter 1. We kind of went out of order. So, we are going back and finishing with chapter 2. Chapter 2 is really about motivation, resilience, and emotional intelligence, and also really talking and going in a little bit into what growth mindset is and how that plays a role in your life, especially how it's connected to your motivation. Because at this point in the semester, it's probably getting pretty slim, or you may be more motivated. So, what I want us to really focus on is as we're going through this chapter, to really think about what role does growth mindset have? How is it connected? And I also want you to really think about, what emotional intelligence is and how that plays a role not only in your everyday life, but specifically looking at your relationships and why that matters. So for an extra kind of learning material resource, I have given you a video that's called Growth Mindset, what it is and how it works. I also gave you a video about how you can manage your emotions. Now, obviously, sometimes we can become emotional, especially if it's something that's important or personal, but sometimes whenever we're thinking about our emotions, sometimes they take charge and it can turn into something that's not very good. And they can affect your relationships. So you need to learn how to manage your emotions, right? And to know why you're feeling the way you feel, why you interact the way you interact, and how this really impacts you and your relationships with other people. So this video really is going to help maybe give you some tips on how you can help manage that a little bit better. Also, I mentioned that you're going to be learning about growth mindset. So, growth mindset really is based off Carol Dweck, and she really talked about how you can be in charge of your mind, right? You just have to learn how to grow it the right way and use it the right way. So, growth mindset is really where you start to believe that you can grow and master new skills and learn how to do new things. Um, Based on your effort and success that you put into something. So, whenever we're doing growth, we also have to talk about fixed mindset, right? And how different they are. So, I really want us to think about the difference between the two and where you fall. And if you fall more on the fixed mindset, really think about how we can try to change that and start having more of a growth mindset and putting that into practice. So, with those resources, you're also going to be reading chapter 2 in your textbook. And there is the reading organizer there for you. Remember, these reading organizers really are designed to help you get sort of like a review notes, right? An outline. So, this is a great study tool that's going to help you in your final exam. And then you, of course, for your assessments and how you're going to be graded this week, you have your chapter 2 quiz and you also have your chapter 2 assignment that you will be submitting to Dropbox. So the assignment here is going back to all the things that you're going to be learning about in chapter 2: emotional intelligence, resilience, and how do you cultivate motivation. So with this, you're really going to do uh, a response paper. Not really a paper, but response paragraphs. I want you to do at least two paragraphs, two to three. And what I want you to do is you're going to use the textbooks to help you answer these questions, but it's also going to go back and connect to you. So you're going to imagine that you are your own therapist and you are going to think about your emotional reactions, whether they're good or bad, and how they affect your interactions with other people. So you can think about certain kinds of situations where maybe you were angry or defensive or annoyed or resented someone or you were humiliated and how you reacted. And I want you to think of one situation or kinds of situations if it's more than one. And I want you to think about how you reacted. And I want you to think about what you said, what you did, what you were feeling. What did you respond? How did you respond with your feelings? And why? And then I want you um, to really talk about it with someone if you can and think about if their perspective, how did they think that you acted, and could you have done something different or said something different? And what we really need to get out of this is looking in a textbook. It gives us a lot of information about how we can make better choices, specifically looking at emotional intelligence and how this affects you. So you want to make sure you can control your emotions. That way you can make good choices if you're faced with a volatile or a very tense situation. So you're going to really think about how you're going to respond. And in response, I want 2 to 3 paragraphs that incorporates these three prompts, right? So these 3 questions are connected to one situation or a handful of situations, depending on, what your life is and your interactions with others. And it doesn't have to be something that happened recently. This could be something that is an ongoing thing with you, or it could be something that happened a while back. But the point of this assignment is to really think and reflect on how you act, how you manage your emotions, and looking specifically at your emotional intelligence. So it's really going to be important when you're doing this for you to look at the section in the textbook where it talks about emotional intelligence. So once you get this completed, your 2 to 3 paragraphs, you are going to be submitting that to Dropbox. And of course, you have your quiz. Now, in addition to that, I wanted to remind you that the capstone is still open. I opened it early. I opened it back in on the 16th of April, and I did this because next week is exam week and there's a lot of things going on. Some of you may be taking exams on online at home and some of you may not. So, it really is important for you to manage your time really well and make sure that you are completing all the last bit of assignments you have to. And with that being said, you're kind of strained for time right now at this point in the semester, finishing it out. So I wanted to open it early so you can have a chance to work on it. But the capstone rubric is really going to be covering 9, 10, 11, and 2. The writing prompts are very similar. The prompts have several questions in them over the chapters 9, 10, 11, and 2. And you're going to complete that just as you have the other two, and you're going to be submitting this to Dropbox. Now, if you'll look, it's due May 2nd. I cannot give anyone an extension. So I'm letting you turn it in after courses end. Classes end, spring classes end April 26th, and I'm letting you turn this in May 2nd. It'd be nice if you had it done earlier because I would like to grade it earlier. I see some people have been submitting it. So once you get this done, just submit it so it's the one less thing you have to worry about. I wouldn't wait till the day before or the night before because as you've experienced, capstones take some effort on your part. They are papers. So just make sure that you give yourself time to work on it. The format and the expectations are in there along with the rubric. Another thing I wanted to point out that's also available for you right underneath chapter 2 is going to be your exam review. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I have sent out an email a couple weeks ago telling you when your final exam is, but I will send another one to remind you. Your final exam will start on April 29th, which is this coming Monday, and it will start at 8 a.m. and it will close Tuesday, April 30th at 11:30 p.m. So that will give you a couple days, so 2 full days to really get this exam taken and when you feel comfortable. So you will take it on your own. You will not be coming in. It will not be comprehensive over everything. It's only going to be over the last unit. So that'll be chapters 9, 10, 11, and 2. And I have given you some really good review tools here. in addition to your organizer, reading organizers, you have a review sheet, which kind of hits the most important topics of what I'm going to be testing you on with this final exam. I also gave you some Quizlets, some different ones for you to get some initial feedback to see maybe kind of what you need to go and study. Now you'll see they're all the way open this time. They don't close early. I thought some of us may wait to the last minute to take it. Do not wait too long to take it because something could happen and you won't be able to finish the exam. So remember, exams are not like quizzes. You do not have multiple attempts. You have only one allowed attempt, and you have timed exam as before. So once you start it, it has to be completed. And you'll see here again the dates of when it opens. It will open Monday, April 29th at 8 a.m. and it will close April 30th, which is Tuesday at 11:30 p.m. So there's the link to get into there, into that exam. Now, another thing I wanted to mention, and I will make sure I send an email out to remind you, is that you also have to do what we call the post test and the course feedback. So, your post test is that test that you took at the very beginning of the semester. It was a quiz. And what this quiz does is it let me test you on what you knew, and the questions were related to our course objectives, student learning objectives for this course specifically. And I'm going to give you the same exact quiz again, and we're going to see how much you have grown throughout the semester that you have mastered the objectives. So that post test is really important. So I want you to make sure that you complete it. You'll see here it's also due May 2nd at 11:30 p.m. It has been open for a while now, and I did that because I wanted you to be able to get done and knock some things out early and not wait to the last minute and feel overwhelmed. But it will close May 2nd at 11:30. Another thing that's going to be part of our closing of the course besides the post test is going to be your course feedback. So please make sure that you are able to complete this because I really want to get your feedback on this because it lets me see how I can improve the course. So it really helps me. All right, so that pretty much will cover. You'll see here there are links there to get you to the post test and course feedback, and then also make sure that you're working on your capstone. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I would be glad to help you any way that I can. All right, you're almost through. Just keep going. You're really at the finish line, so you can push through and get through this. All right, guys, take care.